ready, I'm ready to call it.
Okay. As required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice this meeting was provided on January 14th, 2021 by publication of notice in the Express Times and posting of said notice in municipal building on the same date. Mayor Barsney?
Present.
Mr. Baylor?
He's
Brian, you're
muted.
again.
Present.
Mr. Beam?
Present here.
Mr. Marqueta?
Here.
Ms. McDermott?
Present.
Mr. Lavery?
Present.
And Mr. Finelli?
Present.
Okay, sorry to do this right away, but I'm making a motion. We go to the executive sessions for a very short time for an update and discussion on the affordable housing.
I don't see him here yet.
Okay,
Let me text him.
okay, well then I'll just keep going. I'm looking
Okay.
for a motion to approve the meeting of the minutes, the regular meeting for May 20th, 2021, executive session meeting minutes from 2020. Anybody want to make the motion to approve those?
I'll make the motion.
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
Okay, anybody have any questions, discussion, need anything pulled from last year on that?
No.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
I'm gonna abstain. I didn't get a chance to look at him. Sorry.
And Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay. Looking for a motion to accept the tax collector's tax and sewer reports for May of 2021. Anybody want to make the motion to accept those?
I'll make the
Make
motion.
that motion.
Oh, we got a motion by Brian, a second by Paul.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, discussions on that? Need anything pulled?
Mm,
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
And Ms. McDermott?
yes.
Okay, I realize I skipped it. I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report and the June bill list. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second? Okay, motion by me and second by Lily.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions? Need anything pulled? Discussion on it?
I got some discussion, but we can pay them and we'll have that a little bit later with Mike.
Okay. Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay, is Chief Hummer on, Frank? We
Yes.
need to, you want to open his mic, see if he
By the
wants to
way-
give me?
I
By the way,
see.
Jeff,
Yes,
sorry. Jeff is in the waiting room, just so you know.
just saw that.
Okay,
I just
Let's
admitted
go
him, Frank.
Okay, thanks.
okay, let's go then into exec and get that taken care of. So I'll make a motion. What?
Bob, we could do executive one of two ways. I mean, I could put everybody in the waiting room instead of having to open up another link if you want.
That's fine with me. If that's easier, this should be quick, right?
Yeah, I
So-
think that might be an easier way, so we don't have to close.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion. We go into executive session. Anybody want a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Okay,
so
we bored them already. Okay, I'll make a motion. We come out of executive session.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mike Lavery?
Mike, you're muted, Mike.
Sorry. We emerged from executive session at 7:26 PM where we discussed one matter dealing with COA, which was attorney-client privilege / contractual. No official action was taken. Copies of these minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public interest.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
Is Rich Hummer on, or did we bored him already too?
he's here.
Okay, let's open his mic, see if he wants to say anything, or
Yep.
we just accept his report as is.
He's available. He's open.
Rich, you have anything you really want to say, or you know, just accept your report?
The one thing I wanted to add, I didn't put in the report, our backup crossing guard, Laura Miller, had put in her resignation. She won't be able to continue. She's going to be resigning for the next school year, and I just want to let the committee know that and accept it with regret. She was a great backup and covered when we had some guards out, and did a great job.
Yeah, no, okay, well then, I'll make a motion. We accept her resignation with regret. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I think we're doing all a favor here, right?
Yes.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Rich, you're gonna take care of sending her a letter telling we did regret, or you want Lisa to send it on our behalf?
I can take care of it, and then I just would ask, I guess, maybe for next week to advertise to hire a replacement for her.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just have two comments for you. One, truck enforcement is going well. I see the guys stopping trucks all the time on South Main Maple. I've seen them, on 173 up near 78 down by Bloomsbury, the Warren Glen Road. That it's literally, they can't keep up with it. They have 2-3 trucks stopped at a time. Yesterday, I stopped, talked to one of the officers. I think he had 10 or 12 summonses he had already written. And he had 2 trucks stopped while I was talking to him, so. But anyway, tell them to thanks and keep up the good work. And Lisa and Rich, you know what, Rich? Why don't you just do it, or Lisa, maybe we can contact, Rich has told me that the car repair expenses are higher than we anticipated because of COVID. We can't get our new cars in. I was
Yeah.
just wondering if we could check with John Mooney or Shannon and see if we could include that in maybe some type of reimbursement through COVID funds, because it's an unexpected expense we got because of the COVID. So just something to
Yep.
think of, if you could do a email or something to Shannon, John
Yeah.
Mooney, or.
I'll make a
Okay.
note, but I do believe that's one of the items that has been recently discussed at other municipalities, so.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Rich.
Thanks.
Joe Mexion, does he need to say anything, or is he not even on?
Joe's on.
Okay, we all mute him, see if he needs to say anything or what.
Yeah, he's on.
Rick,
I'm
Joe, how you
good.
doing?
Joe's
You're
good.
good?
I'm good.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Joe, thanks. I guess you've been out the last couple of days on that oil spill in Greens Ridge and stuff, working with the county. I should have said something to Rich Hummer too about it. But thanks for all you did. County was great with that response as well. Looked like everything worked out for the best, huh?
Yeah, it looks like they still got to finish up tomorrow, sweeping and stuff. Then we got to see what the road looks like after that. It's gonna be stained. It's not gonna go away, but we'll figure it out from there.
It looks much better today. I just drove by.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for you guys, all you did. I know you had a couple guys out there as well, so. Okay. Lisa, do you have anything you need to add to your report?
I don't believe so unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda to accept the police department report, the DPW report, the township clerk's report, the animal control officer's report, and the court reports. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments on it? Roll call, Lisa?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Committee reports. Anybody have any?
I got
I have
I'll leave it up.
Brian, you want to go with rec?
yeah, I'll just go with rec real quick. They had their meeting last night. I see we have community day as old business, but they're planning out that 5K run, and it's a joint venture with the Booster Club, and they had in mind changing the date. I don't know if we have a set date for community day, but they were requesting maybe something along the lines of 10/9.
October 9th?
Yeah, where they would have, the run, and then the run would end and community day would start.
Yeah, I think we initially had talked about September 25th, but I think that would be the week after. We always look for the week after the firemen's convention.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we set that in stone.
Mhm.
And I don't know if anybody have any objection to going October 9th. I don't have any, but.
I don't either.
Well, why don't we discuss that
Yeah,
the old business,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And
Go ahead.
besides that, they wanted to thank the baseball fields, softball fields, looked great. And lacrosse obviously as well. They wanted to thank Joe for his hard work. I mean, the baseball fields looked phenomenal. Beatty's looked great. Stecker, every time, they needed the field, Joe got, the guys on. And thank you. But baseball season is over, softball's still going on, and now they have soccer signups
Okay.
starting.
Okay. Do you have anything from Board of Ed?
I don't.
Okay, Frank? Is Valerie on? Do we need,
Who?
Vicky?
Vicky?
I mean, Vicky, no, Vicky's not on.
Okay,
Vicky's not.
Vicky's not on? Okay. Okay, Frank, you have anything?
Yeah, well, I have one question. Bob, did you send it out, the Hamilton Township, about them getting the state to support not allowing trucks through their town? There was an article.
Lisa sent one and I sent something out. I don't know if I sent the whole committee or I just sent it to Mike Lavery for review, but
No,
Okay,
I was gonna bring it up later anyway, under professionals with Mike.
all right, we'll leave it for that. Just a comment on Memorial Day. Just want to thank the Legion. They did a really good job. The ceremony was very well done. Very much appreciate the police working the parade and the event, and of course the road crew. The next TC meeting, I guess you're going to cover that later, right? We're doing the next TC meeting in person. right, Bob?
Yes, yeah.
I just made a note of that to ask you to
Yeah.
mention it. All right, so Open Space Committee in the process of producing a landscape plan. So we had a professional landscaper come in. She came back with some ideas. So we're still working through that. Once that's completed, she's going to come up with a booklet of what the landscaping is going to look like that we could put out on the website. Of course, the town committee will have to approve it first. So that'll be coming down the road. Also, started discussions on, what type of uses the Open Space Committee wants to see there in the future. So that's still being discussed. That's still being worked on. I think our next meeting is going to be in August, just as an FYI. There's no meeting in July, so we won't have an update until then.
Okay.
That's the open space, and the land use board is continuing the master plan review. So that's still going on. Really nothing to report there yet. No major changes or decisions. You probably are going to be hearing some recommendations coming to the township committee for funding of certain further studies. But that'll be down the road from the land use board. So.
Okay, yeah, I did get some questions about that already, about the funding for that, but are you guys gonna come up with what you need for funding? Because apparently we
Well,
didn't.
Well, we only approved, I think, 5,000 for the whole plan.
Yeah,
It depends how deep of a dive you want to take into it. So I think what the land use board's going to do is they're going to look at certain areas that they think need a deeper look and may need more funding. So
yeah.
that'll
Yeah,
be,
what they expressed, what I've heard from them is they feel like they might need to rely a little bit more on professionals for some of the answers rather than just themselves.
two things I heard. Mike could correct me if I'm wrong. Wastewater management plan, circulation plan. Those were the two things that I think they're going to come back and ask for funding on. So that's the only thing that I've heard in the meeting.
Well, my understanding is that when they go to discuss some topics, there's not a professional there. They really don't know how to discuss it without a professional. That's what I'm hearing. Does this sound like the same type of funding we're talking here or not?
Yeah, probably. There was really no other topic that would probably bring up that. I mean, Mike, you tell me. I mean,
well, when you get into the two that Frank mentioned, the circulation plan and the wastewater management plan, obviously they are, technical issues. I mean, the wastewater, the WMP in particular, both of which are in need of update. The WMP, I think, and Frank heard, we talked about it at some length at the land use board meeting earlier this month. That's the bigger fish to fry out there. Circulation plan, it governs, the design and location of a future additional roadways. It definitely is outdated and needs to be updated. It goes back to, actually goes back to 2002, which I was surprised it was that old. It doesn't compromise the township. There's nothing on there that's that, let's say, inconsistent with anything. So, but yes, those were items that we talked about at a little bit of detail and probably should be, moved forward sooner than later.
Yeah, there were a couple of compromising roads that were built into open farmland that would be compromising because some developer could say that the town, was planning on developments here. So that was pointed out in the meeting. That we probably want to remove those. They have like these stub roads or, these cul-de-sac roads going into farmland. There's nothing there right now. So if you put that in, it's almost like you're promoting development. So that was pointed out in the meeting as to something we may want to look at. So, okay, so that's all I got.
Yeah, and also just for one last comment, the circulation plan would be a much less expensive endeavor than the wastewater management plan. But again, no numbers to discuss, but that's the reality of it.
All right, and if I can just interject, like Bob was saying that the land use board was concerned about wanting professionals to help sort through this early process, but there's no operating budget for professionals for routine work. Basically the professionals get paid out of escrow. Otherwise, there's no operating expense budget for the land use board. So I had asked Shannon to look to see how much money was available, and over and above the $5,000 for what we had set aside for master plan review, there's actually in the land use board operating expenses, there was an additional $3,500, which today Mike and Kendra, certainly didn't burn up anywhere near that. And I think that leaves some money allowed yet for multiple more meetings to discuss that before we have to even worry about whether we're expending into the 5,000 that we've set aside. So I think we probably have enough for the professionals to get us through the meetings at this point without worrying about where that money's coming from.
Okay, I just want to make sure they have enough money to do their due diligence, so,
I think so at this point.
okay. Okay, that's good. Frank, you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Anybody else? Paul, you have any reports?
Yeah, just I want to follow up on the rescue squad vehicles. Larry Cohen and I think Mike have now weighed in that there's a maximum of 70,000 in charity that you can give. Lisa, I stuck in your mailbox and I forgot to ask you, did you see the Kelly Blue Book value of the ambulance? I left in your plastic mailbox when you weren't there. Did you see
You're
that?
muted.
Who are you talking to?
Yes, I did see it, Paul. And
right.
so if you have a cost for the other vehicle, I'm sure we're going to be under that, but it'd be nice to file that.
I think so too, but we're actually struggling finding somebody that will put because that's a much larger commercial vehicle.
Right.
The comps on it are a little bit more challenging.
Right.
But we still have 14,000 to play with before we got there. And
Right.
none of us are thinking that a 20-year-old vehicle is worth 14,000, but it could
Right.
be close. So, but at that point, I just wanted to bring that up, that we're not there, and we do have Kelly Blue Book value on the one ambulance.
Yeah, well, the other thing that I was going to propose worst case scenario, if we could approve one this year and Bob could sign off on it soon, and then one
and
next
that's what we
year.
were thinking. And the squad was going to be fine with that if the numbers got there, because they're primarily concerned about the ambulance.
Right.
9855 is not as big a concern. So if we end up doing that, that would be fine too.
Okay.
Okay, is that it, Paul?
Yep.
Lillian, you have anything?
No, I Did you see the animal control report?
Yes.
That was it. That was all that I had.
Okay. Anybody else have anything before we move on? Professional reports. Mike Finelli?
Okay, this is really as much of a follow-up from last month, and as you know, I wasn't there. We didn't have any representation at the meeting. The 2022 DOT grant applications. I know they were brought up. I sent out the memo in advance of the meeting about a couple things. They're due the end of this month, the 17th. I heard that voice. I thought it was one of you guys. I won't get on my soapbox about how well we have done through this program over time and how much money that we've been awarded and used for resurfacing and other improvements in the township. The preparation of the applications is not a huge lift. We normally submit two. We've submitted two for pretty much ever. And just for instance, last year we submitted two, Rickline Road Section 2 and Willow Grove Road. We received Rickline Hill Road Section 2. You guys have opted not to go forward with the project this year. That's fine. And it certainly can be done next year. But now we have one that's done and ready to be upgraded per the new submission requirements. And then we'd come up with another application. And that one that I suggested and has been discussed would be Beatty's Road. And Beatty's, I think, is a great application because of the wear and tear that road suffered from being the detour for the 173 bridge work. So if you don't want to proceed to submit an application, that's fine. It's your call, of course. But it's money well spent. I mean, in my opinion. And we're in seven figures over the years we've been participating in getting these grants. So in any event, if you want to make a decision and go ahead with it, I would recommend it being done, and you have to do it tonight because we have less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. Last month when we discussed this, does anybody remember exactly why we didn't vote for this?
I don't think it was ever brought up.
Was there ever actually a motion made to do it?
It was never brought up.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't remember when Mike called me about this.
No, it was in Mike's email to us prior to the meeting, but it actually never got brought up at the
I think we've
meeting.
always applied for DOT grants, and it's pretty much routine and normal. Does anybody have any reason on why we wouldn't proceed to apply for grants? I guess here, none.
Well, I mean, there was a little chatter, but I think there was some confusion about, there was already one in, and why were we reapplying for the same one a second time? But apparently there's a little bit of a new procedure. I think there was some confusion there. But Mike's right. We should probably be applying for it. If we find out that we can't afford our portion for it after the fact, then it's on us to either move forward or not. But we won't know that until you apply for it and get it. And then Mike and I, which we were discussing, and not on your initial application with the state, but when it comes down to, and I'm just picking rough numbers, if it's 150, we get 120, and the town's obligation is 30,000. That 30,000, we need to have a little bit more of a breakdown than just 30,000.
Yeah,
That's all. Which we kind of talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we did. Did you see the email, Paul, that I
I,
sent?
I did see your email, and that's exactly, what
Yeah.
it's kind of shown. It's boom.
Yeah.
The soft costs are $31,000, but okay, but out of that, who's getting what and what? And that's all, but that doesn't need to be discussed at this point. When we decide that we're going to use the grant, that's when we need to have finer accounting.
Yeah.
So
And
I would say move forward and apply for it.
Yeah, there is no obligation should you receive the money. I mean,
Right.
if you opt not to go forward, and let me just, there is a town, actually nearby town, that had a $250,000 shortfall. It was a long section of road and so forth. So I mean, when we're in the 20-30 range, that's almost, I look at that as like a win because it's at least close. The DOT's really gotten a little more stingy on these grants as far as the actual award amount. But all being said, they have given us a lot of money over the years.
Okay, so Mike, what do you need? A motion from us to authorize you to proceed with the applications?
Just to submit the applications to the DOT for the 2022 program.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Go
What's
ahead,
the
Lauren.
estimated cost for us to submit that? What would we pay
It's,
for you to do?
Yeah, obviously that would be a cost to the township.
And what is it? What would it be?
The new road, Lillian, which we've done nothing with, which was Beatty's, you're probably looking at $1,000, I'm gonna say, because obviously we're gonna have to do a site inspection, we're gonna have to take pictures, we gotta do a very preliminary design, we gotta determine quantities, we gotta do an estimate. So there's a little bit of work involved, fill out all the forms and the administrative component of that. And that's where Mayor Barsany and Clerk Bird Rindell will have to be a part of that because of the new system. So that's about it. I would say 1,000 is probably a fair number, and the Willow Grove Road, because of the change in the system, is maybe a couple $100. So that's what you're looking at.
Okay.
So
It's a cost
I'd say,
difference between what you had in plans, what you gotta change, and then the new amounts, about 1,200.
well, yeah, with most of the vast majority of that is related to the new road, the new application we have to do for Beatty's.
Okay.
But I'd say 12, you want to say 1,200 that's probably a pretty fair number. I don't want
Anybody
to
else?
call it a good number, but
Anybody else? I make a motion, we authorize Mike to submit the applications for the DOT funding for 2022. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Anybody have further questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
thank you, folks. We will do our thing. Then otherwise, really not a whole lot going on.
Mike, you want to give an update on the truck signage and stuff about the meeting you and I had and
Oh, yeah, sure, Bob. Thank you for reminding me, actually. Bob and I attended a meeting with the county administrator, Alex Lazorsak, a few weeks back. And with the purpose, it was a follow-up from a previous committee meeting. We were talking about, obviously, the impacts to Greenwich resulting from the future opening of the warehouse on Strikers Road in Lopatcon. And the intent of the meeting was just to kind of advise the county of our concerns, as well as to discuss additional signage that we would like to see, so as to primarily almost require a truck that is exiting the Lopat warehouse, which is required to make a right exiting, dumps you right onto Strikers and right into Greenwich. I mean, I'm like within feet. And then that takes you up to the stop sign at Strikers and 519. We want to try to obviously sign that very well so as to make sure all the trucks make a right to go up to 22, which is probably where most of them want to go anyway. But you certainly don't want trucks making a left because obviously you have the railroad underpass to deal with up 519 North, and you also have the Dumont Road, which that intersection there, that quick left and quick right would be a very precarious movement for a truck. We've done a little bit of work trying to put something together, and then I happened to be speaking recently with Bill Gleba, the county engineer, and explaining this to him. And Bill, which was actually might work out great. Bill advised me that they being the county, in conjunction with the Lopat warehouse application, had sent a letter to the developer similar to what we were talking about, that had a number of additional signs proposed and so forth to try to funnel the truck traffic where the truck traffic needs to go, which is again 519 south and certainly not north. So Bill was going to send me the letter and the sign recommendations in the plan, and I still haven't gotten it. I'm going to write a note to give him a buzz tomorrow. He might have forgot to send it to me, but I wanted us to take a look at that before we, maybe repeated what's already out there, or just look at what Bill and the county have done. So that's, we're moving that forward.
Hey, Mike, when you do contact him again, I was going to ask you this. Would you ask if they have like a traffic counter that could count how many tractor trailers go down roadways that
They do.
would
They have
call for us?
Yeah, they
Because
do. I know they do, Bob.
I think we would be shocked if we put that up for a week. How many tractor trailers a day go across Warren Glen Road and Maple Drive?
Yep.
Now, some of them go South Main, but a lot of them are starting to go right and left on one north, east and west on 173. This is not just trucks sneaking through. This has literally become a truck route.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Can you ask them if they would install that for us? And let's try to get some numbers, because I'm telling you, I mentioned earlier with the chief's report, the police literally can't keep up with it. They have 2 or 3 trucks stopped at a time. There's trucks still going by them.
No,
So,
we've used the counter before, and that was more from a traffic count standpoint. But no, I will definitely ask them. Sure, well, they'll do it. I would think.
And what did we find out about that flooding situation on Washington Street the other day? I sent it to you and Joe.
Okay.
Oh, I got caught in that. That's funny you brought that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't get caught in it, but I was coming off of Route 78 and the police were there and I saw it. It was pretty bad.
Wow.
Well,
Talking about the flooding actually it was not on Washington. Maybe I'm misquoting, off of Beatty's on Main.
This was Washington Street where they put the new road stuff in, and
Oh,
right down in one person's driveway. They sent me his pictures and stuff. And
that might have been a 100-year storm or something.
yeah, well, Pat, our inspector, actually ran out there. I've looked at it. I mean, where do I live? A minute away from there. And he took some pictures, as I suspected. And Joe, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well, because Joe had some comments and I think we're on the same page. The farm lot, which is behind those houses on Washington Street, is farmed by the Santinis. It's actually, that lot is Bob's. And if you've seen anything that the Santinis have done over the past year anyway, they've really tried to clean up, if you want to call it that, some brush and tree rows in their farms. There is a lot of debris piled along the edge of the field, which I think is what was the Santini's basically did during their field cleanup, let's call it. So I think, because we had this situation resolved a long time ago. I mean, that was a problem, Bob, years ago. And we got, I don't know if it was Santini's at the time or who it was, but to do a swale and basically diverted all that water right into the creek and didn't really impact the homes or the road. That I think has been compromised a bit by what the Santinis have done. And of course, with no malice of intent. But I really wanted to stop there one day and walk down the area to take a closer look. Pat took some pictures because you got to get behind the houses. And, I'd be happy to talk to Bob Santini, and Bob's a good guy. If there's a problem that he created, he'll fix it.
Yeah. So let's do that, because we got to get back to this woman who sent the email. So does somebody want to give her an update, or should I give her an update? I'd rather have somebody who knows what they're saying.
If you want me to talk, well, Joe, do you want to add anything? I'd like to hear what you have to say.
No, I think you're right on right there. Is, like I said, I know for a fact that ditch and that swale's been there since I was a kid. We used to walk through it and everything else. It's sediment, and I don't know. I seen some of the work there that Bob did with some moving them trees. Like I said, I don't think it was malicious or whatever, but also when you till land and you got the rain where there's no crop in it, the silt and the dirt's gonna move. And it fills it up, and then it goes across it. And that's what happened. And like I said, that storm there we had 1.5 inches of rain in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing was gonna handle it. As you said there, Frank, I had a half a lane on Beatty's Road wash out. The asphalt just tore up, and that was just like a big river down through there. So we had one person with a little bit of mud in there. She should go down and look at the other impact. But the drainage swale, if it was dug out a little bit and re-divert that water, I think that would solve that issue there. And I've seen that increasing a little bit more with the other heavy thunderstorms. We were getting a little mud, but the storm drains was catching it and taking it away. That storm was more than the storm drains on the road could handle.
Well, there is a maximum. Joe, did you actually go back and take a look by any chance at what Santini did with the brush piles and stuff he's got along the property line?
No, I did not. The only brush pile I seen was tucked up against the, you want to call it the JCP&L property there, where the transformer, where the big power thing is there. Along Washington Street there, a lot of them trees there, I don't think they touched because I think they wanted that barrier there between the houses and stuff. I know out in the middle of the field is where they tore a lot of them fence rows out.
Okay, so Mike, you're going to contact Bob Santini, right? Because he's pretty cooperative.
No. You're
going to respond to that woman, explain to her that once every so many years storm that we got that in the stormwater, just couldn't handle it. And
I'll be happy to, Bob.
I'll probably answer it too, just tell her to watch. If it could be let us know.
Did she have, was her name and phone number there?
Yeah, I'll resend it to you. I think I sent it to you. I sent it to Joe, and I think Lisa.
I know. Let me see if I'll try to look for the email right now.
Okay. And we talked earlier. I don't even know if everybody knew the LMR spill we were talking about. In case Frank and Lily and you might not know, I think Paul knows from DPW. But what happened at LMR the other day when they were doing the garbage pickup? I believe they had a hydraulic line break, and they had hydraulic fluid go all over Greens Ridge Road. It was pretty bad. They had their employees out there cleaning it up, but they never reported it to anyone. And somebody had reported to us. So the county hazmat team is investigating it. Police department, Joe Mexi OEM was out there and DPW for 2 days trying to get it straightened up. And as you know, we just redid those roads a couple of years ago, and I guess it left a pretty good stain in it. So after everything's all done, I guess we're gonna have to determine, it sounds like the county's gonna handle that, right, Joe, unless I'm wrong? They've actually already told LMR they're gonna have to make repairs if there's any necessary. Is that right,
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom, the hazmat chief said that'll be up to the township to advise on which way we want to go with that. I'm gonna get the square footage and the estimates of how much that is stained. I just don't know what the effect's gonna be on that blacktop where the concentration of the hydraulic oils was.
What broke that lost that much? Was it the compressed?
Those trucks got live action hydraulics, so they run off the pump off the motor. So they're turning just like our DPW trucks when the truck's running. And I think one of either the main supply line or the return line, and he went over, I measured it out, 1,100 feet. But I think where he stopped was where he ran out of hydraulic oil. I think he expended all of his hydraulic oil.
How much hydraulic oil is in one of them? I mean,
Anywhere from, I'm gonna say, up to 75 to 100 gallon.
wow, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, well, everything's hydraulic. The can lifter, the compactor, the back door that opens
Yeah.
when they unload the truck. So there's a lot of hydraulics involved with a garbage truck.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Mike, you're done, right, finale?
Yes, I'm done.
Mike Laver, you have anything for public?
Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I wasn't able to unmute for a second. No, I don't have anything other than to say I did read that article on the trucks, limiting the trucks in Hamilton Township. And I think, they obviously had political help. It's how they did it. So I think if we got some counts on some of those roads, I think we could use that to build some political support locally, at the county and our state representatives. And I think that's kind of what got it done, in my opinion, in Hamilton. So I think we probably have to do something similar.
And that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Mike?
what does that mean though? If you're able to do that, that restricts trucks from the entire town unless it's a local delivery? Is that what that?
Well, no, that was one neighborhood in Hamilton. So that's why I'm saying you're going to have to do the counts and show that this is a problem and where it is a problem, and then ask the DOT to give permission to regulate it.
But
Hey, Mike, I was talking to somebody from South Plainfield. Apparently, they say that we can regulate or change our fines and everything on that and increase the fine substantially for the truck traffic. So, and I think I just texted you some information that the guy gave me, but maybe we can look into that too, because the fines just don't seem that great. Because what we're hearing from the police officers is it's cheaper for them to get one ticket from us than it is to go through the weigh station to get 7 for DOT violations. So that's why they're taking their chances going around the weigh station.
Yeah, I'll check and see what the limitation is on our fine, if there is any.
But I think
That's an easy fix.
Yeah, I'm willing to go as high as we're allowed to go.
All right.
We need a deterrent because it literally is a truck route. It's not just somebody sneaking through anymore. And they're actually telling the police, hey, we'd rather deal with you and get 1 ticket than get 7 at the weigh station.
And they're all hours.
Oh, yeah, all night
All
long.
out.
All night long.
And so what they're saying is that they're running dangerous trucks that wouldn't even comply to safety
Correct.
standards
Yeah,
through our town.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
okay, Mike,
Yep. Got it. Thanks, Mayor.
old business, township owned property. Is that on for any special reason?
I don't know.
Well.
Brian,
Is it just held over from last time?
I think it's from Brian. Brian, you got to unmute. There you go.
Yeah, I just unmuted. The township owned property being located Well, actually, I have, it's listed anyways, being located on Avon and Greenwich. I could see being a potential problem eventually. It's a drainage area. And I could also see it becoming a dog park eventually, where the town would be liable, obviously, if there's any injuries. That's why I guess it's on there.
Okay,
I have it under new.
okay, well,
No, Bob, I'm sorry.
I-
Actually, the township owned properties under old business, I left that on there as a holdover to the discussion that Paul brought up last month. And I think we left that potentially we were going to be reaching out to them and asking their professionals for that township owned parcel by Shammy Shine, if their professionals wanted to send in.
Oh. I think Mike Langry is going to give us an update on that and executive, right, Mike?
Okay. That's a holdover.
Okay, okay. Community Day, Brian, you want to go to that then?
Yeah, so right now, Recreation and Booster wanted to set something up where there would be a 5K run. After the run, Community Day would start and it would have it would have a superhero theme to it. And they're asking for the date change to be 10/9 if possible.
Anybody have any thoughts on it? I don't really have any problem with it. I mean,
They're also asking if we can maybe have a set week after this year, where then I know they have to get some permits for some stuff, where we have a set week and then it's already, solved.
Community Day, well, actually, I think that's why we went with that the week
Did you?
after Fireman's Convention all the time, but maybe we can
Okay.
discuss it, because I think we had the first week in October of the year we dedicated the park, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think so too.
So anybody have any thoughts on this, or we just okay with it? I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't really.
Okay.
I mean, what about the firemen and the rescue squad?
That's what I mean. We gotta find out from other people. So,
I don't have a problem with it, as long as everybody else is okay with it.
yeah, that's what I mean. Unless it conflicts. Now, we know it doesn't conflict with the Fireman's Convention, because that's always like the third week or second week of September. So that's one issue we always dealt with.
And at that, can we recognize Ann Stone at the Community Day?
Yeah, but you want to give her like a little plaque or something, like we give our own outgoing people or something, or?
She doesn't want a plaque, just wants to be recognized. And Elizabeth Gittens is running kind of like that. She has some ideas for it that she'd like to run by myself, and then I'd be able to let you know what they're thinking, if that's all right.
Yeah, it's okay with me. Anybody have any other thoughts on that? Okay, well, I guess the first thing we gotta do is, do we want to make a motion to, for this year, that Community Day will be October 9th, or do we
I'm
want to
okay
wait?
with that.
Do we want to get feedback from the other organizations first?
The only problem is that they do need as soon as possible to get
Yeah,
whatever they need.
Joe
So,
Mexley, you see any problem, any conflict with anything?
Not the fire company, but that is the weekend that we had the fall townwide cleanup set up, but we can push that to the third week. That's no big deal. But we
Okay.
usually did it the week after the fall townwide yard sale, which would be the first Saturday, October 2nd or 3rd or something like that. I think it is.
Well,
Yeah,
Are
2nd.
we willing to roll the dice and go with the 9th this year? Then I suggest that Brian go back to rec, Paul go to the squad. Joe, you can let us know about the fire department. Lillian, you can let us know from the Historical Society on how they feel about setting that weekend every year. So what would it be? That's basically the second weekend, I guess, or the first. What would it be, second weekend all the time, Brian, is what we're looking for?
Yeah, we can come up with whatever. They would like to set dates so then they can do this, in advance.
Okay, so is everybody okay with going back to their respective committees, find out what the input is? But for this year, Brian, you want to make a motion to do October 9th? And
I make a motion to have Community Day on October 9th.
anybody want a second?
second,
Anybody have any further discussion on it, questions? Paul, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. And we have a squad member who's on They don't have a problem with, we decided to do it that time anyway, so we're good.
Okay. Okay, so roll call, Lisa, for the date.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes,
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes,
Ms. McDermott?
Yes,
Okay. And then, like I said, everybody just check with whoever they liaison with and see if they have any feelings on it or
Aye.
anything.
and I am getting a text here with that being said. The squad might like to do something at this community day. And I don't know what that something is. It certainly wouldn't be significant. Just to let everybody know, it's their 75th year anniversary
Oh,
in
wow.
existence.
Okay. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
certainly-
do we have an official chair for Community Day?
No, I don't think so. I think I think Rec did it for a while, and then at least, so you actually did it 1 year since you've been here, haven't you?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, Lisa was doing it, yeah. Do we need to, is that something that,
Because we should get letters out to the businesses and stuff too.
yeah, is
Right
that something
away.
that Lisa's gonna handle again, or do we need to make a formal, or is that just a given?
No, I don't know. Lisa, do you have at least the letters ready to go in the mailing list that you could do that at least?
I can share whatever I have. I believe I inherited the list from Mary Ann previously.
Okay.
It should be in the system.
Brian, you have anybody who's looking, from the group that wants it on the 9th and may be interested in sharing it?
I could ask, I could go back and ask.
Okay, so we can find out who would pick up that, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, next up, I wanted to bring up, I've been going back and forth communicating with the land use board. I got a little upset with, a few years back, we had, at one of our meetings, we discussed 3 options, which came up during our affordable housing discussion tonight for this crosswalk at Dumont and Greenwich Street. And I've gotten several calls and emails from different people on both sides of the aisle, I guess, or whatever, on the issue about it being discussed in the land use board. But the township committee at that time, which is still pretty much intact, the same, except for one person, we had decided that we wanted to go with the crosswalk at Dumont and Greenwich. And my understanding is that the applicant, when they applied the land use board, put in for a C1 variance not to have sidewalks on Greenwich Street because we had told them that we wanted to use Dumont and Greenwich Street as the crosswalk. And apparently at the land use board, they started discussing this. And this is what upsets me. The piece of property they want to put a sidewalk through is owned by the township. Now, we as a township committee are the stewards of that property. So in essence, we're the owner of the property. And they started recommending to the applicant that maybe they should look at putting a sidewalk across this property and a cut through from the development they're building. And they actually reached out to Frank Pinto on our open space consultant. And I just don't understand why the land use board would contact a neighboring property owner to see if somebody else could use their property. I mean, you wouldn't do that in any other circumstance. In this case, it obviously happens to be the township. But I just think they really stepped out of what their statutory authority is on this. And I don't think it's up to them to decide where a sidewalk should go on township property. If they want to do that, let them run for township committee and do that. I think they're way out of bounds on that. So anyway, I'm making a motion that we reaffirm our decision that the crosswalk will be at Dumont and Greenwich Street, and that we are not going to put a sidewalk through our property in the open space property on the corner of Vaughn and Greenwich. So I just want to I'm just making a motion to reaffirm that. People vote however they want, but that's my motion, that we notify the land use board attorney that that was our decision, and that option is the only option that's going to be permitted. So with that, I make a motion. Anybody want a second?
I second it.
Any comments or questions, discussion on it?
Well, I could add, do you want me to add to the fence then, Bob, or
If
wait?
you want to, I know you're interested in bringing that up, and
Yeah, I mean, I was already discussing it. I think on that property, to begin with, should have a fence. I did, fence. It's around 250 feet to the other property owner's fence. I think we should fence off that area just for potential hazards and liability.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole point. Like they're making phone calls to put a sidewalk on our property that we would have to maintain. Joe has to figure out to salt it, to plow it. We assume the liability for it. I just don't get where they were going with that. It really struck me as strange when I saw the email about it, that these were contacted. I just can't see where, and in any other case where a land use board would call a neighbor and say, hey, a guy wants to build a house next door. He doesn't have enough room for his driveway. You think we can put 3 feet of it on your property? I mean, it just seems so bizarre to me, that whole discussion, especially since I think it was back in 2019, we voted on that. And it's actually in the land use board's minutes from 2019, where that was the option that we were going with. So I don't get with it. And I didn't even think of a fence, but now that it's been suggested, I'm okay with a fence there because I just don't want people offering up our land.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's, just to add on to that, Bob, we did consider all options at the time, as you said. And it's a shame we have to actually reaffirm our vote. We shouldn't even have to do that. I'm all for reaffirming it, but that vote should stand as it was taken. It's pretty sad that we have to re-vote on
I
something.
mean, am I wrong in the land use board? Like, for them to reach out to, and forget it's a township land, a property owner's engineer and say, hey, there's somebody building next door. We're just wondering if we, am I not thinking correctly with this train of thought? I'm wrong.
I will take it one step further. There's been no site plan issued to the land use board. So for them to be even addressing something where there's not even a site plan that was issued yet to even look at, is a little strange.
Yeah, I just thought that very strange that, like I said, I hate to say it's our property because we represent the residents of the township, but it's township property. And I can't think of another circumstance where land use board members will start calling professionals of the property owner to see if they could use the land. Like that's how I'm viewing this. Am I off base here, Mike Lavery?
No. Not at all.
Okay.
Fully aware of the previous vote, by the way, on this situation.
Well, I'm reaffirming it. I spoke to our affordable housing attorney about it. So Lisa, would you please send a notification to John Drill, land use board attorney, and John Drill, the affordable housing attorney, let them know that we reaffirm that, please.
I will.
Still need to vote. So
Oh, yeah, go with the
So we
vote.
vote, yeah.
I got hung up on it. It's been bothering me, as you can see.
We say,
You ready for a roll call?
Yes,
Mayor Barsney?
yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
yes,
Ms. McDermott?
yes.
Okay. Municipal building septic system. We have any discussion on that, Joe Mexi, or is that just hanging from last month?
It's still hanging from last month. Come down with a preliminary. Mike's guy, Charlie, looked at where the pipe would go to pump the water up in between the buildings there. I have not seen anything since.
Okay.
You want me to-
Brian, I think I cut you off on the township owned property. Did you ever actually make a motion to put a fence in there, or did you want to further that discussion?
I
I
would,
went off the rails again.
no, that's fine. I would like to make a motion for Joe Mexi to go out and look at the site. And I would like to have a fence put up. It's around 250 feet.
Well, let Joe look into it and then price it. What type of fence I want it to look aesthetically nice too. So like,
I looked up vinyl. It's a little over $4,000.
yeah, how about like a cyclone with, or something like that, which still would look nice, would be more effective. Joe, can you come up with some different ideas for us?
Sure, I'll take a look at it and see what we can do.
Okay, so,
Joe, if you want, you could give me a call and I'll meet you over there too.
Okay, Brian.
Thank you.
so I don't, so never second, you come back next month, let us know what the idea is, and then you can have a price, everything for us, okay, Brian?
Yeah,
Okay,
cool. Thank you.
Hey, Bob, excuse me.
Yeah.
Get back to the septic system,
yes.
real quick. Were you done with that item? I didn't want to
I
interrupt.
think so, you know me, I remember.
Okay,
things.
this will be no time. Charlie, our septic guy, has been involved and been out to the property, met with Joe, met with Jeff. So, and just so make sure we're on the right track here. He put together like a draft proposal for what would be the design and the cost to basically come up with a new septic system location and design. So is that what you're looking for here? Is that what that's the goal?
Well, yeah, I think we allocated some money to really upgrade the system, right, Joe Mexley, is that what you're looking for?
Yes, yeah, we need a cost estimate on what the design plan's gonna be, the design, and then we can come up with our pricing for materials and what's required to make this happen. So we have a budget to work by to get the job done.
All right, well, there's a draft already prepared. We can get that out soon, and obviously, well, I guess we'll talk about it at next month's meeting. We can talk about it to Joe in advance.
Well,
So, okay.
I was going to say, Joe, would you like to have a preliminary meeting with who designed it, Mike?
It's one of our engineers, a guy by the name of Charlie. He's
Charlie.
been
All right. So,
Charlie
Joe, would
the
it benefit us to sit down with Charlie, Mike, you, and myself first? Because I know there's been a couple of other thoughts.
Sure.
Would that be in our best interest right now, Joe?
Yeah, we could do that. So we know which way we're going, what we're looking to do.
All right, Mike. So let's set up, a 15, 20-minute interview during the day in the near future, so that we can just bounce a couple of things and really settle in on the plan.
Sure, I assume we'll just meet at the building, obviously.
That'd be fine, sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll get that set up tomorrow, beginning of next week. Okay,
All right, thanks.
gotcha.
Okay.
Hey, Bob. I don't want to interrupt, but Brian started a motion on the record for the installation of the fence, and then I think it moved into you guys just agreeing to have them look into pricing.
They never seconded, so I don't think we have to do anything on it, right?
I just wanted to make sure we don't have to like do anything with that, Mike, to cancel it.
No, there's no
Okay.
second. It just-
I wasn't
There's
sure
no
how far it
second,
went. Okay.
Maybe you would have yelled at me by now if I would have overstepped my bounds there. What do you, Mike?
I didn't have a second down, but I wasn't sure. It got a little crazy.
Yeah, no, we never got a second on it, so.
Okay.
Okay. New business. I'm looking for a motion to adopt resolution 4421, which is liquor license renewals for the Warren side, the Legion, Bourbon Street, and the Rockness Monster, which I think is the second Bourbon Street, and the Bondi Bar. Number 4521, which is a refund of tax overpayment. And 4721 is a resolution authorizing redemption of tax liens. Anybody want to make a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
Any more questions or comments on it? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
I went out of order, but anyway, I'll make the motion to adopt resolution 4621 as a resolution of the Township Committee governing body certifying the annual audit. Anybody want to second that motion?
I'll second that.
Anybody have questions, comments, discussion on it? Lisa, did you want to say anything about it? Are you okay with everything?
No, I'm very happy with it now.
Okay. Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
I'm looking for a motion to open public hearing for ordinance number 103/2021, which is a ordinance prohibiting cannabis business within Greenwich Township. Anybody want to make that motion?
Make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. With that, Frank, you want to open it up for public hearing and see if anyone wants to make any comments on it?
Members of the public present, Bill Gully and Gary Hill, both asked to unmute.
And Bob, just for the record, I did receive a letter from Susanna Karas, our Land Use Board Secretary, advising that the Land Use Board did find that it was not inconsistent with the master plan. So,
Okay, thank you. Anybody want to comment, Frank, or not?
We don't, Bill and Doris Gullion do not have a comment.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks. I asked Gary Hill to unmute, so I don't see him unmuting, so.
Okay.
Should be no other comments.
With that, I'm looking for a motion to close public hearing on 103/2021.
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Looking for a motion to adopt ordinance number 103/2021 prohibiting cannabis businesses within Greenwich Township. Want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
No.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay. As we all know, last month we discussed the land use board changes. And last month we received the resignation from Ray Buckwalter, the former chairman, a longtime member of the land use board. I'd like to make a motion, we accept his resignation with regret. Ray was really an asset to this township for a lot of years. He took the position seriously. He went a lot of training on it. He did a lot of homework to be prepared for meetings. Really did a great job. I had a nice talk with him after our last meeting. If any of you really know him, the guy is just a real gentleman. And it's a true loss for Greenwich, him leaving for everything he's done. But anyway, I'd like to make a motion, we accept his resignation with regret.
I'll second.
Anybody else want to make any comments or have any questions?
No, I could just,
Still miss Ray.
yeah,
Yeah.
just echo what you're saying. I've worked with Ray many years. We may have been, some issues on different sides, but always respectful. And I think you stated it right by saying he's a real gentleman, the way he conducts himself. So.
Yeah, okay. Lisa, would you please send him a letter telling him we accepted it with regret and thanking him for his many years of service?
I will.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'd like to appoint Bill Kanyuk as a full member of the Land Use Board. Bill's been on the board for several years now. He's a former mayor and committeeman, been around town for a long time. So that's who I'd like to nominate and appoint. I'm just looking for approval of township. So I'm making a motion that we appoint Bill Kanyuk to the Land Use Board. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
just a question for the record. I don't believe in the past we had a vote on the appointments.
No, you don't, but I usually always ask, even at the reorg meetings, I usually ask for you to vote.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure you knew that was
yeah,
your.
I mean, technically it's a mayoral appointment, but I usually ask for your blessing. Or if one or two people want to say, no, that's okay, or whatever. But anyway, and with that means that opens up an alternate position. And I really think one section of town, like kind of two sections of towns is not really represented. I'd like, if anybody knows anybody who's looking, if you can find somebody either from the Heights area or downtown would be interested in serving. Well, actually Gary's downtown, but somebody from the Heights area, maybe be involved in the land use board, because I think we have people pretty much everywhere else in the township but the Heights area. So if anybody knows of anyone who might be interested in serving, try to get their name to me and we can start looking into people, okay? Let's see next. Shared service agreement with the Board of Education. We're just looking for a motion to approve that, right, Lisa?
Yes, I did drop a copy in Joe's box just so that he could review it and make sure he's okay with it.
Did Mike Lavery have a chance to review it?
I did not send it to Mike. I think it's the same as last year. I can
think
certainly,
it's the dates changed, right?
correct. Joe,
Mike,
did you
you want
notice
us to
anything
table it
different
for
in
a
your
month?
obligations?
Nope, I didn't see
Yeah.
nothing different. Looked the same as the year prior.
Okay. Is it okay with us if you approving it then, Mike, or you want a month to look at it and we're doing next month?
No, you could just make the motion subject to if it's the same thing as last year, I don't have a problem with it. So
Okay.
whatever the committee wants to do, I'll be happy to take a look at it. You could just make the approval subject to my okay. That way you don't have to wait a month.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve and sign the shared service agreement with the Board of Education, subject to attorney review. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call, Lisa.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay, next up is the Memorial Day Parade for 2022. Frank, I listened to your comments earlier, and I've heard a lot of people say that the parade was really nice this year. The turnout from the residents was great. I'm glad to hear it, and sorry that I missed it. But with that, the Legion had asked if they could use that park every year now for Memorial Day, at the end of the Memorial Day Parade, and reserve the pavilion. So I'd like to make a motion that we just permanently block off Memorial Day from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is already reserved for the American Legion for their annual Memorial Day services, and also waive any fees for the use of the pavilion. So I'm looking for a second to that.
I'll
Second.
second.
Any questions, comments, or discussions on it? Anybody have anything?
It was really nice, like Frank said, other than it was a little chilly. They put together a really nice program and it was a great turnout. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. It was nice
Yeah,
to
I
see.
heard that. Yeah, I heard it was great. So I think this is a good thing to do for them, and then they don't have to come every year. And
Yeah,
we're just.
Shout out to the Bikers Against Cop Killers Motorcycle Club that was there. They represented really well. I didn't know about them. But that's, I mean, that's a good cause. That's a good club.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been against cop killers, so.
There's a club for that now, so it's good. It's good that police support, you know?
But I appreciate other people being against it too.
It's sad that you need a group like that these days, right?
Yeah. Highlands meeting, Paul, you want to talk about that?
I just have a brief update.
I'm sorry, we still need a vote on the Memorial Day. I'm sorry,
Oh.
Paul.
I'm sorry. Yeah, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. Marqueta?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay. They reached out to me. They're tentatively thinking about the August meeting for their presentation. You know, I did tell them that we start at 7 o'clock. I would make sure they were first on the agenda to get them in and get it out. But there hasn't been a confirmation on it, but that's what they're leaning towards.
Okay.
So can I, just a couple things on that? So previously, when we looked at the Highlands, the town hired a consultant to go through what was required if you opted in. And there was a list provided, I believe at the time, maybe Mike, you even have it, by Steve Balzano.
Yeah, I'm sure
About
I have it
issues.
in my files.
Yeah, there were issues found from the township. There was a whole list of them. So I think if we can find that list and make it available to the town committee before that meeting so that we can all look at it. And this way we can ask those questions.
Yeah.
I think we should track down that list. And I would also recommend that we have John Drill there also at the meeting.
John Drill and actually the whole land use board should be there, I would think, too.
So we do a
Well,
joint meeting?
You want to do a joint thing?
We'll do a joint meeting, basically?
That's fine with me, if that's what you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna have to be noticed if, obviously, if there's a quorum of the board.
You didn't say you had a date yet, though, Paul, did you?
No, we don't have a date. Tentatively, they're looking at the 3rd in August, but that's not confirmed.
Okay, so,
So, yeah, if we could get a joint meeting, that would be great. But Mike, if you could, I don't know if you have, do you have that list, Mike? From both
I
times?
have those files, because that
Yeah.
probably goes back to, I'm gonna say, what do you think, Frank? 2007-ish, maybe 08?
I wasn't on the board back then. I wasn't on.
It was, it's a long time ago, but maybe 09, 010, but yeah, I'll look.
Yeah.
And also, let's assume it's 2010, just to pick a date. Again, it's the 11 years later. I'm not sure if the rules of the game are the same, if they're
Yeah.
drastically different, or they're very similar. So
that's why we want to have the
But
meeting.
that's
Right.
why we're having the meeting, and that's why we can ask the questions. That's why we
Yep.
need the list.
I'll,
See if
I
those
will,
things are still an issue.
I will research the files.
Okay.
All right, great. Thank
You done on that then, Paul? That's it?
On the Highlands, yes.
Okay.
I do have something else under new business, so it'll be quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Much to my surprise, Greenwich Township owns a little plot of land on Bloomsbury Asbury Road. As you make the left-hand turn, on the right-hand side of Four Paws and everything, there's a little bit of an open area there. Fish, Game and Wildlife has a sign there about it being stocking and things like that. Much to my surprise, we own that. Anyway, so to make a long story short, the Musconetcon watershed people have reached out to me because they would like approval to put a sign there about kayaking and canoeing. And since we're the owners and there's, sign ordinances and such, they were looking for our approval. The fact that there's already one from the Division of Fish, Game and Wildlife there is leading me to at least think that it's okay to add a sign to that particular thing. But I got to tell you, I was super surprised to find out that we own that piece of land.
How big is it, Paul? What size?
It's not maybe 100 yards by 20 foot
Yeah.
wide. It's a nothing piece.
I always thought it was county because a lot of people used to dump tree limbs and debris there. and I used to see the county clean it every once in a while.
Somewhere else, I couldn't find it, but somewhere along the line, somebody stopped paying taxes on it. And we inherited it. God bless them. But we might be able to actually, when the time comes after the dam has been dismantled and things like that, Division of Fish, Game and Wildlife is interested in a couple of things there about fisherman access and stuff like that. Maybe we can bundle something with them. What a surprise. But anyway, so they're reaching out. Can they put a sign there for canoeing and kayaking?
What will the sign say?
Motion to allow the Musconetcon watershed to add a sign to the post that's already there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but do we have the authority to override an ordinance? I don't know.
The township really can do.
I'm
Let
asking-
Mike weigh in on that, but I think
I would just say, as long as the sign conforms, because they're still going to need a zoning permit, even though they have our consent to put the sign there. So they're still going to have to conform with the town's
Right, so
sign ordinance. So
that's what I'll let him know, to make a meeting with Larry and make sure it conforms.
What's the sign going to say? That kayaking's allowed or what?
Yeah, canoeing and kayaking on this stretch of river is recreational. Okay. I mean, I'll get the verbiage for you.
Yeah.
They just approached me 2 days ago on this.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
I had to do my research to find out if we actually owned it and was really surprised.
Okay, well, so again, there was never a second, so I
Yeah,
assume.
right.
Okay, anybody else have anything other new business or are we done? Hearing none, I assume we're done. Okay, I make a motion, we open public comment because we're gonna go into executive and no sense in making people wait around unless they want to. So, anybody want a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Frank?
And, Bill Gullion and Gary Hill are being asked to unmute. If you have a question, let us know.
Hey, Bill and Dora Scullion have no comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, next month we're seeing you in person.
Yes.
Yes, did you make that announcement yet? I mean, we didn't make that
No.
announcement, actually. Yeah.
I
Are
don't
you
know.
plan on doing that still? Okay.
Yeah,
Gary didn't unmute, so
Okay.
doesn't look like there's anybody else.
okay, with that, I make a motion, we close public comment.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, while there's people on, next month, we're gonna go back in live session at the municipal building. In fact, Lisa, can we put a notice on our website? Can it actually be like a banner saying we're back?
Yeah, and Lisa,
Yeah.
can you just notify Cindy to remove all the Zoom links?
Yeah, I will do that. And also I will re-advertise that we are now in session.
Can we get the banner?
It should be a
Got it.
scrolling banner.
Yeah,
Mike Lever, you think that that would be the most appropriate, right? For me to re-advertise that we're now back in session and give the
Yes.
remaining meeting
Yep.
dates? Okay, I'll do that.
okay. Okay, with that, I'll make a motion, we go in executive session for discussion of contracts, I guess they would be considered in legal advice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Mike Finelli, could you join us for one thing first, if that's
Yeah, yeah,
possible?
Yes,
Yeah, I want Finelli in there.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Certainly.
want Finelli in there, because he's gonna be involved in that. Okay.
Do you need,
Frank,
we-
can we just do it the way we did last time, or are we gonna actually go to?
Yeah, yeah.
executive?
I'll put everybody in, do we
Does that-
need Richie though? You need Richie in the
No,
executive?
Rich can go and enjoy his night. We're
Yeah,
Rich
how
can
about
go.
myself? How about myself?
How about Joe?
No, Joe, I don't think we're gonna need you, so you enjoy yourself.
Very
All
good.
right,
Have a
so-
good evening. Thank you.
Just
Enjoy
for the
your time off.
record, if Joe's still on, Joe, Shannon, Gary Hill, and Richie Hummer are gonna be put in the waiting room.
Okay. Okay. I'll make a motion, we come out of executive. Okay, I heard that. Okay, I'll make a motion, we come out of executive session. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Mike?
Okay, we emerged from executive session at 9:08, Mayor, where we discussed three matters, all attorney-client privilege. One was some township-owned property. Two were donation boxes, and three illegal signs. No official action was taken. Copies of these minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public interest.
Okay, with that, anybody have anything else they need to discuss tonight?
Real quick, can I speak to Shannon real quick?
Sure.
I'm gonna ask her to unmute. Okay.
Hello?
Shannon?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, somebody just got a strike, I heard that.
No,
I just-
I'm shooting at a snare right now, but I can hear you.
No.
Go ahead.
Shannon, those bills that we had set aside from Finelli Engineering last month, would you go ahead and make sure they get paid?
Yes, I'll email Susan. Is the building open tomorrow?
All right, that's fine. Okay, we're good, Shannon. You can mute.
Okay, anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Oh, they got. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what's.
No,
It's
stop.
being recorded.
Frank, do you
Sound
show
like
your recording?
No, it's
Sound like a-
recording. Right now, it says it's recording.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. Okay,
Yeah.
last one.
That Safe Schools, safe routes for schools grant, we in with that? I think we got one of them years ago and did all the walkways downtown. I don't know, is there anything left to do? I mean, I guess the school lets know, because I think they get notified in the same letter, right? Same grant, they can apply for it themselves, the school.
Yeah, I could reach out to them too.
Okay, with that, anybody have anything else? I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Everybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 See you all in person next month. Have a good month.
Looking forward to it. Hey, have a nice weekend, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Happy Father's Day to the father.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Happy Father's Day out there.